Hey everyone, this is Rob with armslist.com, and today we're taking a look at a couple of really cool rifles. These are FAL clones essentially from a company called DSArms. DSArms has been around a long time, as long as I can remember actually. These are the SA-58 series rifles. So this is the SA-58 CTCP, or Compact Tactical Carbine Para. I usually just call these the Paratrooper model. SA-58s, and then we've also got for you to take a look at this guy. This is, now they don't sell this anymore, it was kind of a one-off, but it's kind of cool to take a look at. This is the Game Ranger, also Rhino Protector. So these are kind of based off of the rifles that a lot of anti-poaching units in South Africa and a few other places in East Africa use. The anti-poaching units who are protecting the elephants, the rhinos, the hippopotamuses, and the gorillas. In my travels, I've seen a lot of those guys, the anti-poaching units. They do carry FALs quite extensively and exclusively almost, as opposed to the AK, probably because it shoots the big old 308 round. Now, like I said, these are based off of the fnfal. The FAL, for those of you who don't know, is one of the longest serving service rifles, semi-auto or select fire service rifles in history. Probably the AK-47 is probably the longest, started in service in the late 1940s. The AK-47 did. This came around in, I think, 53, 54, the FAL did, and then followed shortly after that, I believe it was the M1A, or not the M1A, the M14, right around the same time in the 1950s. And then the M16, M4 series, AR-15 has been around the U.S. military longer than any other rifle in the U.S. military. But these, the FALs, you can still find them pretty much everywhere. Africa, South America, Asia, a lot of countries use them. Even some European countries, I think, still have them. So I'm going to take you through some of the features of both these rifles very quickly. So this, the Paratrooper model, the CTC Para. Starting from the muzzle, we have a three-prong flash hider. We have a medium contour fluted barrel. It gets a little thicker under the handguard. So while we're on the subject of barrels, I can tell you I was pretty surprised at what this thing was grouping at. I was just shooting kind of bulk remanufactured federal ammo, 150 grain, and I got one time an inch group, 3-shot inch group, which I'll cut in right now and show you, with a 3-power magnifier, by the way. That wasn't the typical group I was getting closer to 2 inches. But for those of you who don't know, the FALs are not known for having the nicest triggers out there, just to let you know that. But this one on the Para model is workable. It's definitely doable. I'm sure you can. Everybody has something nowadays where you can adjust it, customize it, clean it up a little, take it to a gunsmith. You can make it better, but out of the box, it is heavy. I'll let you know that. But it's not something you can't train around, essentially. You just have to get used to it. So it's got the shorter handguard. Now, unlike most FALs that have a sling swivel attached to the barrel, like this one does, the Paratrooper model has the barrel is uninterrupted, so it's straight all the way back, and then it has the sling swivel on the left side attached to the handguard. So that's, I think, nicer than having it on the bottom attached to the barrel. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the FAL's controls, you have a non-reciprocating big old machine gun-like charging handle on the left side. I will demonstrate the two controls here. This is the magazine release. You push it forward. This is a rocker style type magazine setup, kind of like the M14. It's paneled on one side and it's open on the other. It's better for righties, obviously, because you, as the right-hander, you're going to tilt it this way. You can kind of see. You can rest the magazine against that panel or whatever, or the side of the magazine well, and rock it in. It's actually quite easy. And then next to it is the bolt catch, which is really kind of cool. You just pull the charging handle back and lift up on it, and that locks your bolt to the rear. Just like a machine gun, you lock the charging handle back forward when you're done, and you can either release it by pressing down, or you can slingshot it when you have a round in the magazine. So those are the controls, essentially. So that's the manual of arms. Rocks in really easily, actually. It's having that one open, having one side of the magazine well open and the other side closed actually helps a lot get it in there. Unlike like the AK and the M14, you just kind of got to figure it out. But that helps you a lot. The safety selector is up is safe, and down, which it says R, is in the fire position. It has a SAW M249 squad automatic weapon style, or it might be the actual grip, pistol grip. One thing that you'll notice that is very different on this rifle over the typical FAL is that it has an attached dust cover with a Picatinny rail attached to it. So modernized for optics. And as you see, what I have on here right now is a Hollow Sun from Primary Arms with the ACSS reticle. Really awesome. I'm beginning to like this thing over the T1 just because of the reticle, and it's almost probably just as durable. And then we have a Primary Arms 3X magnifier on there. Really great, affordable setup, by the way. So moving back, we have a folding stock mechanism. Folds to the right. It'll still fire. As you can see, it doesn't obstruct the ejection port. As you see, it doesn't. It's kind of held in there by spring tension, and then really easy to lock it back out. It's got an AR-15 style buffer tube on there, Magpul CTR collapsing stock, and it comes with the cheek riser for the Magpul CTR stock, standard butt pad. So the operating system on this is a little different, or the recoil system is a little different than it is on the Rhino Protector rifle and most of the other FAL styles that you'll see with a fixed stock. And so I'm going to show that to you now. Okay, so this is how you disassemble the rifle. It's a short gas piston system, by the way, I didn't mention that. So short gas piston, not direct impingement. So here's your gas plug, we'll call it. I'm not sure the exact nomenclature, but you push in. I think you have to rotate it 270 degrees, so almost 360. Pull up, plug comes out, then pops out, and make sure you're careful with that, otherwise it's going to fly off into the air. Don't look at it, obviously. Wear eye pro. Your recoil, your piston and spring come out. At that point, there's a takedown lever on the back left side of the rifle. You push that in, it hinges open, so there's an upper or lower receiver to it, as you can see. Now you can, for disassembly, for general maintenance, you don't have to disassemble them, but maybe we will. Okay, and then your bolt. Let's see. Oh. Sometimes it's stubborn. I'm sorry. Where was I thinking? Okay, so the recoil spring on this one, on this guy, the whole recoil spring is inside of the stock, and on the back of the bolt there's like what I call a little stingray tail, like on a semi-auto shotgun, a lot of semi-auto shotguns that you'll find. With this one, however, it's built into the top, so you push in here, push out, and this comes out. There's two springs and two op rods, I'll call them, inside here. I'm not going to separate them. Okay, see, there's the smaller diameter spring inside of the larger diameter spring. So just make sure when you're taking this apart, you don't lose the smaller one. And then your bolt will just come right out, unless it does that. Okay, sometimes you got to pull a little. All right, so that's your bolt carrier and bolt, and then they just separate. So real easy, okay? Okay, now we're going to talk about our Rhino protector slash game ranger rifle. Like I said, this one's no longer for sale, but you can get a similar setup. Some things I forgot to mention about the Para model. It's a lighter version, so they cut some weight. I think it's got an aluminum lower, so that cuts some weight. FALs usually come in around the 9-pound range. The Para model is about 8 1/4 pounds, so they shaved about 3/4 of a pound off, but it's noticeable for sure. This one is probably, it feels lighter because I don't have optics on it, but it's probably right around the same weight. I'd say 8 1/2 to 9 pounds. But that one, the Para, has a 16 1/4 inch barrel. I probably forgot to mention that. This one has an 18 inch. Most FALs, I think, have a 20. So these are definitely shorter versions. Now this one disassembles the same way, almost. And so I just want to show you the differences between the two. It's clear, by the way. Don't worry about me. If you're seeing this video, I didn't screw up. I didn't shoot myself. Okay, so there's our 270-degree rotation. Our plug comes out. Out comes our piston. Now, as you can see, the pistons are different. They're not interchangeable. This is a short piston. This is a longer one. So that's one difference right off the bat. A difference in the length of the piston system, obviously, because it has a longer barrel, a longer handguard here as well. From there, open our takedown lever. This one's a little stickier. Got to break it open. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. This is what I call the stingray tail. So here's our bolt carrier and our bolts. Got to push in this a little bit to take it out. Our bolt carrier and our bolt, and this is the little stingray tail. It's under spring tension, so when you put it back in, it's not flopping all around. That's really nice. That's really cool. It just lines up right into position. And then I'll cut in a picture, but you can see here in the stock, there's a little, I don't know what you would call it, a little indent where that stingray tail indexes into, and then there's a big spring that goes through the stock behind that, and that's the recoil system for this rifle. It isn't built into the top of the bolt carrier like it is here on this one, on the Para model. So those are the two differences in the recoil system. Reliability, it works. I haven't had one malfunction through either of these rifles, and I probably put 100 rounds through each so far, and not like super expensive ammo at all. It was all kind of bulk stuff. So there they are, ladies and gentlemen, the SA-58 CTCP compact tactical carbine paratrooper model, 16-inch barrel, 308 Winchester. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. 20-round double stack magazines for these guys. Really awesome. And the Game Ranger slash Rhino Protector rifle. Like I said, it's a one-off, but you can get a similar configuration type rifle from DSArms. Really awesome, classic military service rifle from the 1950s, still relevant, accurate enough for what it is, similar to an M1A, basic M1A. Reliability is there, like I said. I haven't had one malfunction so far. Modernized with an optics rail permanently attached as well. Unlike the AK, where you have to remove the mount to disassembly, you don't have to do that with this rifle. Very, very cool, and a little piece of history as well. So they do come in the $2,000 range. So if money is of great concern to you, then you might want to save up for this one if you really want it. But an awesome rifle all around from DSArms, the SA-58 series fnfal rifles. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them below. As always, please subscribe. And from all of us at armsless.com, take care and thanks for watching.